Now, it's not a secret that women have categories for men. It's your psychological, emotional layout or landscape. All men get placed in certain categories based upon whatever your filters are. Well, I have 10 categories that I place men into, and I'm going to share them with you. And then I'm going to share with you the categories that men might place you in, or one in particular that you need to know about. The 10 categories that I have are not based on science or religion or any thoughtful research for that matter. It's just a catalog, if you will, a filing system. It's not a hierarchy. It's not a matter of right versus wrong. It's not a matter of what's better or what's worse. These are just 10 lanes that most men would qualify for. Now, there could be more, but I wanted to concentrate on 10 so that we could have a point of reference, a starting point, for the sake of consistency, to have a conversation that absolutely has to be under consideration these days. Society has changed quite a bit. It's not either or anymore. It's more of a spectrum. So I have 10 categories to help us understand the spectrum of males. Category number 10, we'll try to give them names. I was told it's a good idea to probably name these categories, and so I did the best I could with the time that I had to give these names, apply names to these categories so that we can kind of sort them out in our heads going forward. Category number 10, it's the old school brother. Now we're talking about males. It's the typical man, throwback, rigid. We call him the Samuel L. Jackson category. We all know this brother. You know, he's a good brother, but there are times when you may not know how he feels about you. You may not know whether or not he loves you, so you have to read between the lines. But because of his masculinity and his rigidity, he shows love differently. We call this category number 10 the Samuel L. Jackson category. Number 9, this brother is masculine. He's a male. By the way, the 10th category is only interested in women in terms of intimacy. The 9th category as well. He's only interested in women. He's very masculine in his physicality, if you will, but he's a little more emotional. He's a sensitive brother. He will haul off and cry on you from time to time. He may cry if his favorite team loses the big game, or if his girlfriend or wife leaves him, he may haul off and cry. And then his buddy, who's in the 10th category, have to tell him, hey man, just meet someone else, move on, keep your head up, etc. The 9th category is more of the Terrell Owens, T.O., NFL great, former NFL great. And this is nothing against T.O. Or any of the people that I use to identify these categories. It's just a type. I mean, these guys are very popular. Their names resonate with us. And we've seen T.O. in his emotional displays, but it's nothing against T.O. personally. I don't know these gentlemen, but he fits the category of the number 9. All right, along with the character that was played by Martin Lawrence in the series Martin. He cried a lot, as you know, with Gina and everything like that. That was a part of his character. So that's the 9th category. He's a guy. He's a dude, you know, but he's only interested in women. But he will haul off and cry on you from time to time. The 8th category we give to the brother who he's smooth. You know, he's not one to look for trouble or anything like that. He dresses well. He he might take longer to get ready for an occasion than what you do. But he's his shoes, his socks match. Everything is from head to toe. This brother got it together. I understand that there is the character Rosewood and Morris Chestnut may fit that description. I'm more familiar with Morris Day. Now here's a brother who, he's a lover. That's what he did. He wasn't very confrontational in terms of starting trouble, and you won't catch him fixing motors and changing flat tires and things like that, or being Mr. Fix-It around the house. But he was smooth. So I like Morris Day for category number 8. Again, only interested in women. Now, when you get down to number 7, now there's another list that you're very familiar with, and you know who they are. These are men who, they might have a wife, they might have a family, but they're also interested intimately with other men. I believe there are plenty of shows and or there's enough documentation now, you know who they are, so we don't have to go down that list. That's the category number 7, the down low brother. Number 6 is the gentleman that we don't really know his sexual agenda, if you will. You don't have any record or any history on him having a girlfriend or being involved with a woman intimately or anything like that. You just don't know. And so you withhold judgment on the fact that you just don't know. That's the Luther Vandross category. And we just didn't know about Luther. Now he's Luther Vandross. We play his records to try to get to first base and second base with women, but we really don't have any, at least I don't, any documentation or any history or any reference of him having a relationship with a woman. Again, it's nothing against Luther. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people names that are on this list. It's just the character that we were familiar with. This is they make for a really good point of reference as we go down the 10 categories. Number 5 and 4 are represented on the series. It's a comedic series, Modern Family, where you have a gay man who is the male of the same-sex relationship, and then you have a gay man who is more of the female or the wife, if you will, in the same-sex relationship. That's pretty self-explanatory. Goes to work, takes care of business, family-oriented, stays out of trouble, could throw a pretty good party, and all that. Good co-worker, whole 9 yards. But the thing is, it's no secret that he's a gay man and that he's in a committed relationship. Number 3 is more of the flamboyant gay male, as portrayed by Richard Simmons. And again, I don't know if Richard Simmons was gay. I have no idea. I have no idea if Little Richard was gay. But now that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Little Richard. But their mannerisms are very flamboyant, and sometimes almost to the point of annoying to other members of the gay community. But again, it's just a category. And then number 2 is the male who likes to dress like a woman, and the only name that comes to mind there is the RuPaul category. And obviously number 1 is when there's actually been a sex change, and of course there's no one more popular than Caitlyn Jenner that qualifies as the more or less the poster child for category number 1. But let's get one thing straight. This conversation is not about 1 through 7. The point is that there are only 3 categories of men when I'm talking to you about relationships of men with women that I want to focus on. And so we had to use the 10 categories as a point of reference so that we know who we're talking about here. We're talking about men who are interested in women only. Now, those 3 categories, 8, 9, and 10, they all have the same thing in common. They all want to be able to say to their buddies that I have met this special woman. She's different. This is what they want to say. So I'm saying to you that if you're uncertain about the man in your life, his intentions with you, If you're uncertain as to whether or not he wants to marry you, he does not want to marry you. This is how men categorize women. When we first see you, because we are visual creatures, we place you in a certain category. How you look, how you act, how you talk, the things that you might say, the way that you articulate the language, your tone, whether you project attitude or qualities of being high maintenance or characteristics of perhaps being argumentative, and even negativity plays a role, confrontational or whatever it is. Okay, now I use that list because that's a pretty obvious one, obvious list of words that when you're looking for a certain type of man, you want a good brother, a decent brother with good morals and values, where he looks at those qualities as red flags. And then you get placed in a certain category. You get placed in the category of you may be okay to hang out with or to date, and sometimes to date for years, but you're not in the marriage category. So if your goal or your objective is to be in a healthy marriage of fulfillment and commitment and love, of course, and nurturing and all these things, you will know without a doubt if that man has those intentions for you. Because as men, because we are territorial, let's use a little common sense, we want to make it clear to you and everyone else that you have been spoken for. So if you don't feel that way, if you don't feel special, I don't care if he tells you that you're special. Use your intuition. If your intuition, your instinct, that is a built-in intelligence, if it's telling you that you're not the person for that gentleman, then listen to that, all right? And then don't start thinking, what should I do in order to be separated or looked upon as different than everyone else, all the other women that he might meet. There's probably nothing that you actually can do, but there's probably some things that you probably should not do. And the first thing that you should not do is there's some things you should stop doing. And the number one thing you should stop doing is fooling yourself. And the number two thing you should stop doing is letting him fool you. You see, the point is, there is not a woman on this planet who should ever be uncertain as to if the man in her life has intentions to marry her. So if you are uncertain, if you don't know, if you're unclear, then after watching this, you should be.